I can make titles now! Welcome back, viewers, to another episode of Let's Play Sacred with me, Bezlonir, your host, as always, because I have the toast with Molly's. Apparently, this is some ecstasy-laden toast that makes you dance and things like that. You know, this toast, the toast that I have. As I make disgusting noises. Pardon me. Have to do that at least once per episode. It is apparently in my contract. So I should post-haste begin the video with some inventory management. I just noticed a few slots that I could rearrange. So a couple of things I wanted to point out. This is apparently, and I do not know how this works for a wood elf, but on another character, I noticed that what was listed in this slot was set bonus type things. I don't know what this dark elf statue does. It may be that there are other statues that have stat bonuses on them. Maybe. I don't know. Or perhaps there's some sort of set bonus thing for having a bunch of them. If that were the case, it appears... God, for some reason the music is loud to me. That all you have to do is have them in your inventory. Okay, it's not going to matter if the music is loud to me, because I'm not going to commentate for the most part of this episode. Most of it's not going to be loud, live commentary, so I just wanted to cover the other thing that I was thinking of. If I can remember what I was thinking. Yeah, I also wanted to point this out. I have multi-hit rank 1 in this thing, and I think I will keep it that way for a while. So I've been increasing the rank of this multi-hit many times, but as of yet I have not yet reaped the benefit of that additional damage, because I would have to go back to the combo master who makes combos and reform that as a new combo with the additional multi-hit ranks, and that would entail a increased regeneration, which I think would be probably 4 times that, so it'd be about 28 seconds. That's really not that much worse, so I may do that. Yeah, you know, I think I'll do that to begin with. So at this point, being whatever point it is, I will just go ahead and say we're going to go into post-commentary mode, and the rest of this will be sped up to various degrees according to whether or not we reach points of interest. Alright, so let's get this post-commentary started. As I did the last time that I did this, I am watching this in a tiny little window, so I cannot see a great deal, unlike the last time. I forget what I was drinking the last time, but now I have some red wine in a tumbler, because, well, honestly, you gotta have something if you're gonna do something this painful. So before we get started on really any desert exploration of that large desert area, there's a little area here up north of the town that we were in that I think had an extra quest, so we wind up going up there. I had actually explored this out with my vampire ahead of time. Here I'm changing out my combo for to upgrade to the level 8 multi-hit. If you were doing this yourself, I might advise saving that low level one, because it has a lower regen speed, and most of the time I think it changed it from needing like 20 seconds to come back to like 70 seconds. And the difference in damage is pretty trivial at this point, so it might be worth hanging on to that low level ability. So I did slow down the video a bit so we could see this cemetery. This is just up north of that town. But yeah, you know what, that's like probably oftentimes not really a sign of good game design when people have to downgrade their rank of skill in a spell or ability in order to make it more useful. I remember people would oftentimes do that back in classic World of Warcraft. I believe that was the only era in which that happened before the first Burning Crusade expansion, and that would just be for mana efficiency. I think some of the lower grade spells were more mana efficient, and that was back before. That was back when, you know, hunters used mana instead of. Now they use focus, which I played a hunter a little bit, probably not more than maybe. And this speaks a lot to what it means to play an MMO and how it has changed our ideas of what's a lot of time, because I've probably played it maybe one or two gays of time. Hi, can I just take some of your time and play your hunter here? Ooh, that's a good looking outfit you have. What a cute bow. Oh my gosh. Yeah, so probably like a couple of days of game time, which, you know, in comparison to my mains or my main alts, it's not very much time, but, you know, back in the day, 48 hours, that would be a long time to spend with the game. So I spent about that amount of time leveling up Hunter with the focus system, and I really didn't like it that much. It just felt like half the time I spent actively trying to regain my focus, and it was kind of tedious. I don't know if it ever changes at a high level, and I couldn't really say that's much different from what I remember of playing a hunter back in classic WoW, because it was like, and I didn't play a hunter a lot, and I actually don't mean classic WoW, I just mean before they changed it over to the focus model, which I want to say was in Cataclysm. I could be wrong on that, but that seems to be when I remember first playing a hunter with focus, and I played a little bit before when they used mana, and mainly I just remember always being out of mana and not really knowing what to do, which is funny because the hunters have a reputation for being the noob class, but I don't know. I guess, like, if you just want to solo and stuff. So here we are on a farm. We just had like one quest to go over here. The quest is called Cattle Rustling. I just remember that from my notes on when to split my video. But yeah, so that was one minor feature of interest in this vast expanse of dry and arid land. This episode is brought to you by the guy whose name I forget, but he always used to shoot in like Monument Valley or something, I think. Why would I forget his name? But now I'm thinking of 100 other people. The famous director of westerns. Maybe you remember him, maybe you don't. Not really salient to this Let's Play, but I mean, shit, if I'm gonna bring up Fitzcarraldo and crap sometimes. So I slowed down the clip a little bit here. We got like a little flag out there in the desert. I guess it's kind of a little Lawrence of Arabia vibe going on. Of course, you could say that anytime you get a desert. It kind of reminds me of Wake of the Ravager, though. That's the game I remember playing in the desert. Yeah, so this was why I slowed down the video. I guess I lost track and stopped paying attention to what was going on because I died. And then I'm going to go ahead and speed the video back up. Nothing really super amazing or of interest to point out in this video. I didn't really stumble across anything that was that impressive. Like I slowed down a little more in my last exploration video, but this was just a solid hour of exploring and raw footage, and there really wasn't a lot. There will be something up here, but because I got to a town, and I did pass by the outskirts of another town, But after I explored enough over here, I began to get the feeling that this wasn't really the direction that the game was trying to move me in. It's a little disappointing because it's a bit of a soft boundary. There's no, like, I didn't suddenly just wander into an area where everything was kicking my ass, but when I realized when I was wandering around in the last large area that I explored, most of the goblins that I were fighting were like level 6, maybe level 8, and my character was getting around, I think, level 12 or so, and they weren't leveling up with me. They were kind of lower in level, and then I saw the mobs across the bridge, and they were like, see, I had a little threat of dying there, but since I died once, I decided to start watching my health bar a little bit more closely. You get kind of used to just not dying, and you sort of get complacent a bit. That'll happen. So then I saw like mobs that were like level 25 across the bridge, and I mean, that was actually kind of cool, like, at that point, because for most of at least bronze mode, and honestly in silver mode too, for the most part, you just, you cruise through, you don't even really notice any difference, and everything is within a few levels of you, so first I had the goblins that were lower in level, and then I had the high level mobs across the bridge. But in this case, I was just seeing nothing but, I was starting to see nothing but mobs that were around my level. That started to make me feel like this was just a bit of an off the beaten path area of the game, which I'm not concerned about that. I'll explore it out for that, although it does go a bit far beyond the beaten path. That's a bit much to ask. But I was concerned that maybe the game leads you back here later, in which case I felt like if and when we came back, this would feel a little bit retread. But now that I think about it, I'm not too worried about it, because if I've been toying around with the idea of, and I think I mentioned this before, going through this on each difficulty with a let's play each time. So if the game doesn't lead you back here, I can explore this a little bit more when we get on silver, so that'll be a little extra, because really, I don't know, what else are you gonna do? I don't know how, I feel like, I don't know if that'll actually work out, because it feels like the idea of playing through on, all these different difficulties seems like something that would be satisfying. You could seem satisfying in that sort of compulsive check off all the boxes thing, but it's like the kind of thing where you're like, say there's like a kind of granola bars that you kind of like, and they have like 40 different kinds, and then one day you're like, what if I just ate every kind? And then you start and you go through like 5 different varieties, and then you realize they're kind of like all sort of the same, and then you're just like, well, this seemed like a good idea, but on the other hand, there's a lot of other stuff I could eat other than like 20 flavors of granola bars for like, some 10 days. Like, so you get to your 3rd or 4th, you might be, it seemed like a good idea, but granola bars. I don't know, I could have picked anything else. I've kind of done that myself, though, in reality. Though I don't tend to be like that compulsive. The idea of being compulsive appeals to me, but I can't really do it. So we got to a new. It just struck me what a weird thing to say that is, or a thought. But I think all of us as people, we're just filled with weird ideas. We all have our own like really weird ideas, and we try to keep them to ourselves because it's our weird idea. And like if you compare weird ideas, it's like comparing wrinkles on your dick. You pull out your dick, you're like, man, I got some weird wrinkles, and it's like the other guy's like, well, your fucking wrinkles are weird, even though he's got weird wrinkles on his dick, and it's like, you know, now you both got your dicks out. You're like, what are we doing, man? And so, the one guy's like, sword fight, and you're like, fag. Even though you were like, sword fight in your head, but you're like the first guy to say sword fight's like, fag. You know, that's humanity. I don't know. Let him who is without sin drink the first glass of wine. I don't know. I deliberately wandered into this strange territory of commentary, despite things that were going on the screen that I could comment on, because I feel, I don't know, I've watched my own videos, and perhaps I am infatuated with myself, and I am my own Howard Stern to myself, and I could just listen to myself talk for hours, but I feel like this is the most interesting part of my videos. Actually, what made me decide to take on this task of commenting and doing a let's play of not just Sacred, but any Diablo type game, because this is something that I would have totally stayed away from before. It was going back and watching my let's play of Dungeon Hack, which is a dungeon crawler from a first-person perspective that's grid-based, kind of like Eye of the Beholder. Some of you may have seen it, I highly doubt it, but I went back through and I watched it, and I actually found, in limited doses perhaps, I found it to be somewhat entertaining. I just liked listening to the commentary, and because it was just like this challenge. There's nothing going on. What can you comment on? This is all random, so it's just like being given somebody's homework or something just totally banal, and so, you know, then it's just given the task of make this interesting. You know, I mean, in the particular playing these games, you know, it's compelling. It has its certain enjoyment. It's like jerking off. I don't know, but you know, like watching somebody else jerk off, or if you know, could be boring. I mean, taking apart the pornographic aspects, you know what I mean? Reducing it to its... Anyway, I died on purpose there because... no, I didn't die. Did I die? I didn't die on purpose there, but I will die eventually. Because I decided that was the best way to just get back to town and end this exploration, because I decided this wasn't the place that I really needed to. And I'm totally going to leave that masturbation thread just hanging, just dangling there. Dangling. Dangling. Dangling-a-ling-a-ling. Ooh, it's dangling. Just play with it. Yeah, so I decided that dying on purpose would be the easiest way to get back to town and end this video, since this whole area seemed like a non sequitur. It was a no-go sort of prospect, but I did gain a few levels out of this, which was kind of fun. I think I got a couple new pieces of equipment, which is actually interesting, because the point that I am at in the game myself, I'm about level 19 in my file as I do this commentary, despite what's on screen, and I feel like my gear's a little outdated, so I think I'm going to do an exploration video, and in that process I'm going to try to hopefully search for some better gear, so we'll see how that goes. And it's not that I'm finding things difficult, it's just gotten to the point where I feel like it's been a few too many levels since I got better gear. I'm just anticipating struggles. So now we're slowing down, and we're getting to the point. We're getting ready to die. Yeah, so there we go. I think I died there. So that's probably going to about conclude this episode of Let's Play Sacred for the PC. So this is Bezlonir signing out, and bidding you a fond adieu. Thanks for tuning in, and I hope that you enjoyed this even more than I did.